60 miles an hour. I love you.
Are you taking that off?
I'm taking her off. You just say she's a crazy old lady.
Yes. Oh, nice to meet you.
They perk right up.
And then you want on it. Yeah. That's what they
You know, you gotta buy her sunglasses.
You guys saw a picture on Facebook or whatever, but there was a dolphin that had caught and was playing with about a 40-pound tarpon.
Oh, really?
The size of the dolphin, right? He was playing with it, and
The one fish I've never caught was a turtle. I've caught a dolphin and a manatee.
Did you eat it?
The manatee. No.
It tastes like chicken.
My husband's like, only you would catch a manatee. You know, with a rubber bird.
they were brought in here as a replacement for beef. The reason they were imported out of Florida, the guy that brought them in thought that he could open a market up and sell them right as a substitute for beef.
Well, maybe that's what's happening.
That's where they came from.
Brought into South Florida.
Yep.
I remember. Yeah.
I forget the guy's name.
We're close enough. Shit.
During the, I mean, there was a lot of meat during the Depression and that kind of thing.
Good evening, everyone. Let me call the Oak Hill City Commission meeting to order. Mrs. King, would you do the invocation for us this evening and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Dear Heavenly Father and our Lord Jesus, we ask that you watch over each and every person in this building tonight. Father, we ask that you guide them in their leadership. And Father, we ask that all things be done and said in your name. In your Son Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Gibson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Linville.
Here.
Commissioner McGee.
Here.
Commissioner Catagano.
Here.
Commissioner Hyatt.
Here.
First thing, presentation has been removed. It was mailed to the parties that requested it. So that we'll move to citizen participation, non-agenda items. Do we have any?
We do. Denise King.
Denise King, 250 South, US Highway 1. Okay. Gentlemen, what is this that was received in the mail? That the VIA is now being called the Community Trust, the Oak Hill Community Trust?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Not seen it. It says right here, today, the VIA Hall is called the Oak Hill Community Trust. So if it did not come before you commissioners and you approve it,
What's this?
where did it come from?
Never saw it. I don't know, is anybody here from the community trust? I mean, and apparently that's who put it out, but
Well, there's a lady that's on the Oak Hill Community Trust that likes to say, I would rather ask for forgiveness than permission.
Doesn't say
So, you figure it out from there, which is not hard to do.
he injected that.
well, okay, part of this, looking at this thing now, Denise, it says today the VIA, the Village Improvement Association, that's not the building, all right, the association, all right, is called the Oak Hill Community Trust. That's okay, that's, now that I'm seeing that the Village Improvement
But
Association.
who was able to change it from the Village Improvement to the Oak Hill Community Trust?
I don't know, I don't have an answer for that, right, but
Well-
it's not the building, right?
But still, it needs to be
association.
checked into because it's kind of odd for somebody to just take it upon themselves to change something without you commissioners not even knowing it,
Yeah, I don't.
especially when it goes out mail.
So I will have to research who was responsible for Village Improvement Association? Was it the city? Was it,
That's why I'm asking.
my other commissioners, I would suggest we do some research on that because
Yeah, 'cause I
it's the
wouldn't-
association they're saying, but
I wouldn't
don't
like
know
for that to
who's-
slide past without us knowing,
I never saw that.
or without at least the commission taking a vote on it or having a say in it.
I would think so.
I'll do some research. I'll reach out to the city attorney too and see what information I can find out.
Yeah.
My understanding is whoever did put that out also already talked to the city attorney. Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. King. Anyone else?
That is it for non-agenda items.
Non-agenda. Okay, let's move on to Mr. Jerome Adams' reports.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, first item I have is the appraisal of the property that the city owns on Nancy Street. We had an appraisal done. It came in at $7,800. Bringing it before their direction is as far as what they would like to do with it, if they would like to sell it. If so, how much do you want to sell it for, and what avenue do you want to use to sell it? Do you want to advertise it on the website, put it out the auction, or contract with a realtor? We do have a couple people that have expressed an interest in that piece of property.
And one of them is actually here if you would like to hear what they have to say. Roberto?
All right. Well, my name is Roberto Gonzalez. My wife did purchase the land in front of the property in front of the land that you guys got for the appraisal now, which is 136 Nancy Street. And I have to demo to rebuild, but that my property is not big enough to rebuild, so that's why it's my interest in to purchase that land behind my property.
Okay. The site size on this piece of property is 2,613 square feet. And that's an estimate from the county public records. And I don't think that's big enough to build on.
Not on itself, but
No. So
in combination with the other piece of
it would
property,
fit
it might be, yeah.
his request, yes.
Jerome, in your cover letter here, you said that the city actually owns the property on 136, Nancy?
No, that was an error.
I got you. So the one we're talking about now is actually 218, Nancy?
There's no, it's a vacant, it does not have a number, it's vacant land.
This
136,
letter that he included in the agenda pack says that the appraisal report was for 218 Nancy Street. So that's why I was asking that. So do you actually own that property
Yes.
now? Because I noticed when I went over there to look that there was a lien or a violation sign in front of it. I saw that. So what you're trying to do is to actually combine these two lots to make yours bigger?
Yes.
I got you. I got you.
Well, the question before us, what amount do you want to put on it to sell it?
Well, if it only appraised at $7,800,
78.
it's not going to be much more than that for a sale, I wouldn't think.
And that's, the picture that was in there, it's completely landlocked.
It looks like,
And that's the reason it doesn't have
an address.
an address to it, because it's completely landlocked.
Probably only good to him.
Yeah, fixate, there's no access, there's no right of way. All right, so, I make a motion, we sell it to him for the, as-is estimated price.
There is, before you continue, sorry to interrupt, there is another party that has expressed interest.
No?
So, not sure if it's the best thing to do to offer it to one person without giving the other one the opportunity.
Oh, okay,
We didn't know about the other
Yeah,
one.
I said there were several
Okay, I
people
withdraw
that
my
were
motion then.
interested in the property.
I think we should list it for sale and.
List it and
whoever pays
see what we,
wants to go for it.
what we're offering for it.
Yeah.
How about send a letter to the two that have approached interest in purchasing it and see how much they're willing to pay? Make an offer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all for that.
Okay. So
So are you amending your,
Yeah, I
He
withdrew that motion.
withdrew it. It never had a second anyway.
Yeah,
okay,
and I withdrew it.
we have a motion and a second. Call for the vote?
Mayor Gibson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Linlaw,
Yes.
Commissioner McGee,
Yes.
Commissioner Catagano,
Yes.
Commissioner Hyatt.
Yes. You said you have 218, I have 136.
See, this says 136. This is 218, see?
the next item I have is an update regarding the Mary Louise baseball field. At the last meeting, I had brought up the possibility of closing the park and making it available for rental. The commission didn't want to do that. They wanted to rather have it open and available to the public. I believe it was Commissioner Catagano that said the grant actually said it has to be open, and I was asked to verify that that is indeed the fact. I did verify, and that is the case. The field has to be open and available to the public for use. So this was just an update to that question back then.
I have someone with a comment. You're all good?
You answered my question.
Thank you.
Can we put signs up there about clean up the dog poop or, you know, that kind of thing, if people have access to it? Because it,
There are signs that state no dogs allowed inside the fencing area of the park, but, you know, people visit just signs.
Yeah.
yeah, because I've seen dogs inside there, and I'm just going, you know, before the practices and the ball games and stuff like that, somebody's going to have to, or people are going to have to walk through there to verify that there's not crap laying around.
Of course, we don't have much to do with the avian visitors that come and rub themselves in the dirt. Did you
Right,
see the
yeah, I
pictures of
saw that picture too.
That was kinda
We
cute.
had a big owl in there playing in
Playing
the
in the
clay
dirt,
out
in the
there.
new
with
clay.
it. He was
He was
busting
just having a
himself for
blast.
minutes.
He says, thank heaven.
He
huh?
loved it.
Yep.
Yeah, that was cool.
Jerome, I got a document here for you pertaining to this issue. It's a page from our comp plan that kind of supports, excuse me.
That's okay.
Needs to be open, it needs to be open.
The comp plan actually supports that associate, what he's reading right now.
Okay.
It supports Or are you saying it supports what?
The assertion that the field should be open to the public.
It's basic with an echogram, isn't it?
Okay. And that's because I know, I think it's New Smyrna Beach that they have fields like that, and they actually close their fields and offer them for rent. So just wondered if that was something that we could do here too, just to protect the field. But if, you know, we're not allowed to do it, then that's fine too.
No, I think
Part of our
since we use the gray one,
That's from chapter 7. I don't think I wrote it on there. That's what chapter that the comp plan that's from.
Okay.
By the way, just so you know.
The next item is regarding the sale of the property that's north of the baseball field. The owner had offered it for sale for $140,000. The appraisal came back at $80,000. A couple of questions had come up from the last meeting regarding that property. I think the commission had asked to see if it's possible to use an ECHO grant to purchase that property. We can go for an ECHO grant to purchase it. The only issue is the next round to apply for an ECHO grant is in September.
September, right.
The question was also posed whether we could purchase it now, go for the ECHO grant later, and, you know, retroactively. We can't do that.
No, they won't
We're
let
only
you.
allowed to apply for it and not retroactively. So the question before the commission now is, with, you know, what direction do you want to pursue? Are you?
But we also went to a counter of 75,000, right, because they dropped off 10 feet of the property,
of the edge,
which reduced it from the 80,000 of the appraisal. And so we said that we would make an offer of $75,000.
I did not make that offer to them as yet. I wanted to find out the answers to these questions and bring it back to the commission, and then, you know, depending on what that found out, to see what direction you would like to take. So is it now that you'd want me to make that offer of 75,000?
yeah, I would say. It would be nice to have the property, but not at 140,000.
No,
No,
it's not
no.
way, that's double what it's,
Yeah.
what it's worth. So no, we're not, I would make the offer of what the appraisal is, or just slightly less, because they don't want to keep 10 feet of it. So that's what I think we'd do, make an offer of 75.
Karen, you have something to say?
Just a basic question. Where's the money gonna come from to pay for it?
It's infrastructure out of ARPA. We had that discussion last time.
Okay, but the infrastructure, the ARPA funds are for infrastructure, or should be used for infrastructure. We have ditches, drains, all kinds of roads. We have all kinds of infrastructure problems in town. And I agree, it's nice to have capital improvement and buy land, but only if it's budgeted, only if we have money. We don't have money in our budget, and our accountant can't seem to find where all the money is. So until we actually have money or go for a grant or do something, I don't think we should waste ARPA funds that need to be used for the infrastructure that this town needs. To me, that's a waste of money. And I just prefer to see our ARPA money go for infrastructure to fix the problems that affect all of the residents in this town, flooding and so on. We've talked about this at many, many meetings, that we've got major issues. At the workshop, we talked about the fact that we may need to buy a new accounting program. These are where funds could help the city and not be a burden to the taxpayer. And that's where the ARPA funds, in my opinion, should go. Not just to buy a piece of land because it would be nice to have. If we don't have money in our budget or have it pre-planned money for capital improvements and capital purchases like this, then find a grant somewhere. It doesn't have to be Echo. Go find another grant. This is what happened the last time this property came up for sale. And it came before this commission. The commission went out and got grant money, and when the grant appeared to be not coming through, that's when Con brought that up and said, I think we should withdraw the whole offer. So my opinion is try and get some grant somewhere along the way. That's it.
Thank you.
Jerome, do you know how long it would take from the time that we applied for an ECHO grant to actually get approval on it?
That I don't know.
Always at least 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
So I was gonna
So
say,
from
maybe we could
September
wait,
to May.
you know, if
But
we
they
didn't
can't
want
do
to.
it until September, and then it's 6 months, so you're
6
talking
months after
basically a
that.
year from now.
If she holds out strong at 180, I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon.
No, not
Or
for
whatever.
sure.
So that's, I was just thinking that we could do it like that, you know, just wait, make her tell her, you know, contingent on the approval of
The owner of this property owns the properties north. And the idea is they want to increase the size of the lots so they'll have 3 big lots to sell. The more money they can do, so I don't think they're going to be any big hurry, so we can wait till Echo. But, yeah, and plus, when that happens, it'll be for the budget in 2025.
Put a deposit on it, closing in October, November, whenever the ECHO grant comes in. That way they know it's sold and we've nailed it down.
She hadn't said she's going to take the
Well, I know,
$75,000.
but she'll have an offer. And we're not leaving town.
And we can't follow through until later on.
No, I don't think we're ready to
We
do
should be
that.
ready to offer them. So, but it's
No, we
an
try for the-
expansion of Parks and Recs is not buying land, they have land, right? So it's a benefit to the rest of the city, although some people may disagree with that. So in my mind, that is a Parks and Rec kind of situation that we can use for everybody in the city that participates in the Parks and Rec.
Yep.
So,
We can try for a grant, and if that doesn't work, we
we
can
can
go ahead and
pursue
put
the
it in the
grant. I mean,
budget for
I have
next
no
year.
issue with that, so.
Yeah, well, we put it in
it's
the
just-
budget for next year.
We're getting a lot more participation in our parks and by all kinds of people, and not just the ball field. but
Right.
There's a lot of people going in there and using the parks now, so our expansion of that, our ability to do that. And we need to pursue also the grants for the
Right,
expansion.
not
Nancy
necessarily
Cummings
the
will
ECHO grant, right.
Do that, so.
do we want to move forward and make the offer with the contingency that the closing will not occur until 2025?
Provided the ECHO grant is approved.
Echo grant, I mean, that's a lot of stipulations.
Well, it is, but there's worse things.
Yeah, they know they're dealing with a municipality, so
Yeah.
that wouldn't be too weird, right?
And Mr. Sparkhoff died last year, and now his daughter and an uncle are controlling
Is it
everything.
brother?
Brother.
Yeah, I met him.
Yes.
That was Mark's brother.
Yes.
Yeah, I met him, yeah. He seemed like a
And,
nice guy.
So, you know, I mean, they could say the heck with it, would sell everything and find a buyer for the whole strip. I mean, you know. But at least we get back with them and let them know we're interested, but we have an issue.
At the last meeting, when we had Zach from the James Moore Company here, and he was putting that slide up on this, and I remember, and maybe I got it wrong, but I think it was like 980,000 was left for the ARPA.
Somewhere around 900,000.
It was right in that
You know, I
neighborhood,
don't know
wasn't
where he got that figure from. And I said that to him.
Yeah.
Because I know the deposit of $545,445 went in the general fund. And we still have that same amount in a separate account at Truist Bank. You'd think I'd remember the account number, but I just know how much is there.
So at this point, if it was 980, which is the number that stuck in my head from the slides, if we did the church, and Jerome's cover letter said the 65 was coming out of that, and then if we got this one for 75, we'd have whittled that down to about 790-ish. Is that where we're at, Steve? If we-
Yeah, you're talking about
Yeah, 30?
Yeah.
30, 40,000
Right.
dollars, so 900, so you're talking about 760.
If we had any designs to do infrastructure rehabilitation with that, that's probably not going to go too far. I don't know, how much do you think it would actually cost to redo the pipes up there at the intersection of Halifax and,
We've got to go out for bids on both those projects.
yeah?
The Nancy Cummings flooding issue and that drainage pipe.
Because if that goes that way, that's, the plan is to use that money, right?
Yes.
For that,
Yes.
Plus, we're hoping for the grant.
We
for
haven't
the-
voted that's what to do with it, but that's
But
what
that's
I'd
the
like to
intent.
see.
That's what we're
I agree,
thinking.
that's would be what I prefer to do with it
Yeah.
too.
We're also still in the running for the grant for the stormwater from the state, true.
Yeah, 500 grand.
500,000.
So that money will also go.
If we get that, that'll be
ditches.
helpful.
So we're still up in arms on how to proceed. Do we just table this, not respond? Come on.
It is not going to hurt to reach out to her and ask, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think we
I think
should at
that's
least
what we
tell them
should-
we're
Yeah,
interested and let them know.
I agree.
what the-
If we said, hey, we'll offer 75,000 based on in the 2025 budget, if we can get an ECHO grant, all right, to
Yeah, just
assist
send
us in
them a
the
letter.
purchase of it. So,
To that effect.
a lot of, yeah.
They may say we don't want 75 and say no, and that'll be the end of it.
Well, then it's over then.
Yeah. But until you ask, you never
Because
know.
we announced,
And we can remind them what the appraisal was.
And the 10 feet, because
Yes.
they
Yes.
probably want that bad.
Yes, they want the 10 feet.
Right.
Yes.
We'll do that. Good.
We got that?
So I'll send a letter offering the 75 contingent upon getting the ECHO grant.
and it will
And
be
it
in
would be in
2025 budget.
Well, we can't apply for it until September, so
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other administration report?
Oh, sir, that's it.
Okay. Move on to consent agenda minutes for February 26, 2024 commission meeting.
I went through them and I didn't see any issues with them, so I make a motion we accept the minutes for the February 26th.
I'll second.
While it wasn't on the main menu, we also
March 11th.
have
That's
March
what-
the 11th.
She sent that in a
minutes also.
separate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did find one issue with that one. When we were talking about connecting sewers to the service in Oak Hill Library and the VIA Hall, Mr. Adams reached out to Zahn Engineering to see what they can do. We didn't talk about that in the meeting, just the fact that we wanted to.
He said he was gonna reach out to do that, and then in his report to us in there, he said he was waiting on a reply from Mr. Zahn, that he's reached out.
In his
That was-
report, not in the meeting.
That was, he was going to reach out to Mr. Zahn to what it would take. And then since then, he has reached out, but he hadn't got a response. So that was the sequence.
Nothing to talk about.
But if we were gonna do this, wouldn't we have to go through the regular request for proposal proceedings?
Zahn was supposed to submit a proposal.
And through two others, or? We have Mead and Hunt that's already a city engineer, right?
Zahn did the engineering
Right,
for
for the school.
for that sewage line that went into the school. Zahn
Right.
Engineering did all of that.
Right.
So he's got all the drawing and all the
And for
engineering.
$15,000, the commission approved Mr. Zahn doing the engineering for our connection. It was $15,000. It wasn't, he didn't do, it was just in his plan. And the 15,000 was the cost to put the connection in, so that the library could be connected.
So the connection's already there, is what you're saying?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
but the connection for the VIA hall isn't. So that's what he would be engineering.
Just the physical connection, but not the, because when we talked to the county guy, right, when he was here talking about the pipes, he said that they were gonna stop at the bend for
It's
a
a
while.
different, this sewage line's already run. That's hooking into the sewage line that runs to the school that's in
So
existence
it would be
right
the
now.
school,
It's already
the
there.
library, and the VIA hall on that line that's
All
running.
that
out.
same line
I got
that goes
you.
down
I
Oak
got you.
Street.
I see,
Yeah.
I see. So it has nothing to do with,
And I think a couple of the residents on Oak Street have hooked into that line too.
I think some of them are, yeah.
Yeah.
okay, I understand now. Thank you.
Yeah, that was just the line that the school put in several years ago.
Okay.
Because they didn't have space at the time for
They had to
making
expand it. They
the
either
septic
had to
tank
spend
bigger.
that money to put in another set of septic systems and all that kind of stuff, or they had to run the sewage line. The county and all got in and they did a partnership and so that ran the septic.
Yeah, that was when that lady that was at the meeting the other day, she had got 30,000 more for that, right?
She was in the county council.
Right,
Yes.
right, I know.
Yeah, yes,
It's all
yes,
coming back to me now.
yeah, yes.
All right,
This looks fine with
we
me.
need approval on these 2 minutes. February 26th and March the 11th minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, hearing? No? Okay. Motion passes. I don't think we've got anything from the city attorney that I'm aware of. City planner, nothing. City engineer. Volusia County Sheriff is absent unless he's sitting out in the parking lot. City administrator matters.
Yes, sir. At the last meeting, I neglected to inform the commission that Erin Anderson has been promoted to the position of deputy city clerk. Since I've been here, she's been performing those duties, and she's been very good at her duties. She works well with the staff and the citizens at Canada. I believe it's only fitting that she should formally attain that position.
Well deserved.
Yep. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I do have a couple of items I'd like to add, which came up after the meeting, after the agenda was drawn up. First one is regarding Mead and Hunt and a design for the city's parking lot. They reached out to me about doing designs for the parking lot for the city, which I guess is a project that they had started some time ago, before I got here. And they had some internal issues. It stalled for a bit. Now they're trying to pick it back up, and it was news to me. So I asked them to, let's have a call and talk about this. They currently have 60% designs done for the parking lot, and wanted to see if we wanted to continue to get to that point where we could actually bid the project out. The project is somewhere around $700,000 in total. I told them to put a hold on it until I got direction from the commission.
700,000?
Yes.
The rest of that ARPA right there.
Yeah.
They came back and said,
Begin with for $700,000.
This was discussed at the commission meeting when they came up with the preliminary. In the discussion, if you listen, we said halt everything. $700,000 for a parking lot?
Forget it.
I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of concrete. But I just think, to me, that's an awful lot of money for a parking lot.
Yep.
What we have works just fine.
They also asked if we wanted to have them continue to get it to 90% complete for an additional $6,952. I told them, no, don't do anything. Let me talk with my commission and get direction. So I'm getting the consensus that we don't want to go anywhere.
Put it on hold.
Unless we have a windfall somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody wins the lottery.
Ooh, wouldn't that be sweet?
The next item was a memorandum of understanding between the City of Oak Hill and the Oak Hill Sports Club. I believe this was something that was addressed back in May.
June 12th, 2023.
All right.
Just a minute.
So it never got through the entire process. It never got finalized, signed. So I'm bringing it back to the commission for approval or discussion and direction.
Yeah, I think we should definitely move forward with that.
Is that your motion?
Go ahead. I was going to say the modification that we had agreed to, and according to the minutes from our June 12th, 2023, did we address this before?
Please, you have the floor.
Am I out of line here? I didn't.
No.
I didn't know if I should wait till after the motion.
No.
Okay.
Go.
Memorandum of Understanding Oak Hill, this is from the minutes I'm reading from. Oak Hill Sports Club, Commissioner Catagano requested the last paragraph of the contract say 30-day notice with or without cause was omitted. Commissioners agreed to that verbiage be added to the contract. Motion passed unanimously. And in the contract that we came out in the email that Jerome had sent today, it hasn't been updated to reflect that. Because I printed this out right before we came. That's where they're talking about right there. Still the same way that it was. This very ambiguous language there that we had talked about in the last meeting. I don't know if any of that's coming back to you or not.
Yeah, I remember they talked about it, and a lot of semantics in there, and it's...
Right.
I don't think we had an issue with it being
Yeah,
changed.
we did. We voted, or we agreed and voted to change it.
Right, but I'm saying we didn't have an issue with changing it.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
And don't have an issue with changing it.
Changing it.
So
Yeah.
if we vote to
With the
adopt
changes
this
that...
like it is, like it's sitting right now, it's not correct.
Yeah.
We just said
The
Right,
motion
we just said
can
we-
include correction the wording.
Good. Excellent.
That with what...
Good.
Right,
there.
added to.
That's what I was hoping for.
We have a motion, we have a second with adding the wordage that Commissioner Catagano wishes to have
That
in
were, that
there.
are in the minutes, what was it, June,
Yeah,
what?
June 12th, 2023.
2023.
Have we confused you enough? Any further discussion? Call for the vote.
Mayor Gibson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lindall?
Yes.
Commissioner Catagano?
Yes.
Commissioner McGee?
Yes.
Commissioner Hyatt?
Yes.
One other thing here, the vice mayor had approached me about a letter to the Riverside Conservancy.
Oh, okay, yes. I noticed that they were starting to do clam seedings in different spots around the city, around Oak Hill, and they did it at River Breeze Park. So I reached out to Kelly, and she said if we could send them a letter that would give them permission to do it, then they could do it around the city observation pier. There's no charge to the city. They have students from the Riverside Conservancy and I think from UCF, and they come out and they seed the clams and they filter the water and make it
I
cleaner.
think that's an
and
excellent
I
idea,
think it's-
yeah.
I
So
got
she said as long as-
600 adult clams.
As long as they have a letter of approval, then they can go ahead and do it. So I wanted to go ahead and bring it up at the meeting so we could discuss it.
I think all we
No
need is-
problem.
All we
Send
need
them
is
a letter.
consensus. Everybody,
Yes, in favor? Yeah.
send a letter, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And one last thing I have under my matters is our lobbyist sent us an email about a House Bill 1365 that forbids cities and counties from allowing people to sleep or camp in public areas. And this is going to affect us because of the homeless situation. So this law becomes effective October 1st, and it says that those communities could instead create camps away from neighborhoods and businesses approved by the Department of Children and Families. Most communities would have to offer security, sanitation, and behavioral health services to people staying at the camps. To force communities to remove homeless people, House Bill 1365 allows people, businesses, and the Attorney General to sue local governments starting January 1st, 2025. Cities and counties would have 5 days to cure the alleged violation. If the lawsuit is successful, the city or county would have to pay attorney's fees and costs. So I'm just bringing it to the attention of the commission that this is now law. It's starting, it's effective October 1st.
October.
But
Starting January
I'm
1st.
confused on what that's saying in there is we're responsible, liable to create a camp,
Yep.
right? And we've got to provide security and
It's a-
gotta go through the-
Basically an
Showers.
unfunded mandate from the state.
Yep.
So it's something that's coming down to us that we'll be on the hook for,
Yeah,
that we don't have a choice.
We also don't have the property.
No.
You think of that?
Well,
And if
I
you
don't
don't
think
have
they
the
thought of
property,
that.
how do you do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think they've realized.
There
what
was
they're
a
doing.
Well, they pass crap.
there was a list of 29 counties that were exempt from this. We weren't in one of those
how did
counties.
they do that?
Under 10,000, wasn't it?
I don't remember
Population, I
what the
think, was under
population was, but
10,000.
They had that list, and Volusia County was
Or
on the
over
list.
10,000.
Yeah. Kind
So-
of crazy.
Just making you aware.
That's a good
We
question
don't
for
have-
Scott, though, isn't it? What you just said, if we don't have the property, how,
Or the money to buy the property.
Or the money.
Yeah, exactly.
property, how can we comply?
Put them out back.
Right there with a brush pile.
Then you have to do, then you have to do security and,
You know, it's funny, if
Jiffy
none of them
job.
would use it.
And an outdoor shower.
okay.
Huh? Hey, come on, let's make it comfortable and cheap.
Psychological
I saw
services,
that the
sounds
law had been
expensive.
passed about no camping and all that,
Oh, yeah.
but I just didn't understand what it meant and what you were
It's
just
pretty
explaining
extensive.
that
No more putting them in a police car and taking them to the
Yeah, you
next
can't
county.
arrest your way out of homelessness.
Yeah, no, and it's sad. So, but anyway, we need to find out what
Find some solution.
Find out, yeah.
opinion is on, if we don't have the land, how do we do
Yeah,
this?
what are our
Do we
recourses?
buy acreage?
What are our responsibilities?
Yeah.
Was there a definition for psychological services in that?
Mental health counseling?
Yeah.
Did they say like it has to be, could it be a counselor, or does it have to be a full-on psychiatrist, or anything like that, you know?
It's just, there's so many caveats and what does it mean?
Because that church, you remember when we were at that meeting
Yes.
the other day?
Yeah,
They kind of do that now, right? I
Yes.
mean, would that qualify, or would we have to get up with it, Neil, and
Probably,
A lot of
Make some
questions
kind
we
of
can
arrangement.
answer, I'm
Yeah.
afraid.
wow,
yeah.
that's a big matzo ball there.
Yeah, it is.
You can move them across the street to the property we own up there at East Hal, or West Halifax, you know what I mean? Are you gonna provide security, sir? I'm just.
How? You talking about property? Is that what you're talking about? Stirring that pot, Charlie.
As usual.
Charlie, you know the drill, you're supposed to come up to the podium. Okay. Mr. Adams, anything else? After that good news.
Well, supposedly they approved $30 million for that project for the whole state. You know how long $30 million is going to do a drop in the bucket for needs really are for that homeless problem.
Might reach out to the county to see what the county is gonna do,
Yeah.
because it affects them too,
Yeah.
not just the cities. And maybe we could partner with the county and build one area.
Does the county actually own the property where they camp out now behind the gas station or near the gas station?
No,
Is that, because I know that area behind that is them though, right?
yeah,
But not the actual wooded area where
No.
they, I got you.
no. Not that, Joe, not that I'm aware of,
I got you.
yeah.
Where we feed the kids.
Old business.
So it's 136 Nancy.
591 Cherokee Boulevard. Need to choose a realtor or a method of sale. Mr. Adams, you mentioned that you're having a meeting with the attorney.
Yes, with our city attorney and what's his name, Mr. Warlick.
Mr. Warnick, yeah.
Tom Morley.
Yes.
I couldn't think of his name. Thank you.
Yes.
So maybe we should wait on that meeting to find out if he's interested in buying that from us.
We shall see. He spoke to our attorney about doing some research on the fees that we owe to see what, if anything, they could do. And they're also looking to do some rezoning of property within
Yes.
the Lighthouse Club. So we'll have our meeting tomorrow around 1:30, and then I can provide you with some additional information.
Okay, we'll get an update later. Thank you. Purchase of church on 222 Cummings Street.
This is basically just an update to say that the closing has gone through. We own the property now. It's been paid for. They'll be sending copies of the signed documents to us for our records. Our public supervisor has over to the church to see what to do inside. Some not sure what the right word is. Historic artifacts that value that could possibly things that we'll have to go through and see what exactly we would need to do do with them. What's her name? Tanya.
You had a conversation with Tanya?
She had expressed an interest in acquiring some of the items that were there, but
Museum?
yes.
Yeah,
have
to
to
take
go
to our
through and-
museum, not to do anything with the church, right?
So nobody's doing anything there yet until we get
Right.
to look at it, see what's there, and then the commission can decide what gets done with the items that are there.
Good.
How bad is the building?
It's bad.
Yeah.
Holes in the floor.
House structure.
Got better.
You want me to address that now, or you want me to address it with the other stuff?
I was just
Later.
curious, it sounds like it might be something you want to repurpose for the homeless. Right, you? For some reason.
I'll come up with that now and everybody can ask. We'll make it easy. Mark Bell, Public Works Supervisor. The building itself, to answer your question, ma'am, there's no holes through the floor, but the floor literally, it rises and falls and rises and falls. And there are definitely areas where if you stepped on them, you would go through the floor. The carpet is covering up some of that stuff. So can you physically see a hole in the floor? No. But the floor itself is very wavy. The entire building is riddled with termites. And when I say the building, I mean the trusses, the joists, there's water damage to the roof, there's termite damage to the roof and the walls. The entire foundation is riddled with termites. I have pictures, but they are actually on my work phone, which is in the truck. And you can see all the piles of termite dust all throughout the building and on the pews and at the basis of the different furniture items that are in there.
Don't want to mess with that.
It is, it's in bad shape.
It's done.
It pretty much, yes. Could you save it? You can save anything, but the cost to save it would be, it wouldn't be worth it, I don't believe. In talking to Tanya, there are some Bibles that have the church's name on them. There's some old hymnals in there, the offering plates. There was a little brass bell sitting up on the piano. The piano is still in the church. There's an older set of drums in the church. To give you kind of an idea of what some of that stuff may be worth, my son plays the drums. It's a set of Ludwig starter drums that cost about $350 new, but they all need new heads and everything else, which would cost you more than what it would cost to buy a new set of drums. So as far as anything of value in there, there is the old church bell that's still in there and it does work. We were going to try to see if we could put somewhere at the VIA hall, like maybe under roof or inside. But Tanya did express that she would like a few of the items out of there to put on display over there. Possibly try to figure out how to get the termites maybe out of a piece of furniture in there. But as far as anything worth of value, it still has all the pews in it. I don't know anybody that would want to take them home though, unless you live in an all steel and block house.
Don't look at me, I do.
Well, I'm just, but there, as far as anything of value in there, not really. Like I said, there's some hymnals, some Bibles. There's a little bit of paperwork, but it's nothing, you know, old historic looking, anything like that. But she would like to have some of those items to put in there. If it's okay with you guys, I could take some of that stuff out of the church now, just in case something happens, so that it can go over there. Or I can leave it where it's at for now. That's going to be up to you guys. We didn't want to take anything out of the building or do anything with the building yet until after the meeting.
My suggestion is there has to be an inventory of what's left inside that church, because it now belongs to the city. And anything that goes to the museum, we have to list what has been provided to be put on display by the city.
Okay.
Because it's my understanding that anybody that donates anything, that there's a form that, and I could be misled, that states that you've donated X to the museum. I think she does that.
Yeah, because I think most of the stuff there is on loan.
Yes.
or borrowed, or, you know.
Charlie,
so to
isn't
speak.
all your citrus posters on loan?
Citrus posters on the first baseball team, Oak Hill, that picture's on along with the names on. I've known several things up there that I've come across.
Other thing I would
Thank you.
recommend, Mark, is that we put those, as we inventory, put those things in some kind of cabinet to fumigate it or do something, because you're gonna have to be really careful about carrying termites from over there into the VIA, into the VIA hall.
Definitely don't want to cross-contaminate
We
those.
do not want to transport any of that in there, so
No.
we need to have some way of
Yeah, the
getting rid
hymnal.
of.
The hymnals will be suspect.
They seem fine. Look, the couple of ones I
They've
picked up,
got
they
some
seem
kind of,
fine,
it could be,
but,
I mean, put them in some steel case or something that
I figured I
that a
would-
pesticide guy can fumigate or do something with
Yeah.
them, so we're not transporting
I
them.
figured I would reach out to Schumacher's, who's doing our pest control, and ask him what's the best way to.
Yeah, we gotta be careful with that, because.
Yeah, I don't want to transport anything over to that other building until it's been treated. But, so make a list of the items, catalog them, whatever, so on and so forth. But does Tanya have the blessing of the commission to take some of that stuff and put it in the VIA hall? Like I said, there's not a whole lot there.
She can,
It's
I
books
would
and-
Yeah,
suggest she
once
make a
we-
list of the things she
Right,
would
once
like,
we have
and
a
then bring
list.
that to us in there.
Okay.
But again, don't just transport them.
No, I'm not taking anything over there until I talk to
Yeah, don't bring
Schumacher.
anything over here either.
Yeah,
No,
Maybe the metal building.
I'll leave it under your carport, sir.
Oh, thank you.
You let me know when they're all gone.
The
Thank you, Mark.
starting point would be the inventory.
the first, yeah, inventory, and then the things that Tanya believes should go into the museum,
Yeah.
right?
Right,
And
yeah.
then we go,
Well, the termites
But,
will
yeah,
eat
there's
the
some- there's-
hymnals and the Bibles
oh
too.
yeah, there's some history in that. One,
just wanna
I'm just
let you know
throwing
the
things
property
out.
north of
You were just talking about the
store
bell.
is
We
county.
eventually are gonna build the city
Within that
hall
big
down here at the
city
Powell
that is county.
property,
And then there's
right?
the property
That
north
bell
of
is
the
probably
convenience store.
100 years old.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Yeah,
I just looked up on
probably,
property traces.
probably. I went
That
to
would
church
be a
service once there.
Historic artifact
You did?
that
Yeah.
could go into the city
Giles the
hall
preacher?
down there
Was Giles the
that we
preacher?
eventually are
No,
gonna build.
it was a
to
lady.
Keep
I
maintaining
think
part
she
of
was
the
an
Oak Hill
American, I'm not
culture
sure.
and history. So, I mean, that would be something that we could do with that. So,
Okay, let's go to new business.
Just one more. One more.
One more,
The
okay.
Volusia Forever property, that closing took place this past Friday. I have copies of the signed documents that we have here in-house. And we did pay our portion. So, waiting on next steps, I guess now from our co-owners is what they're going to be doing and how it's going to move along.
They wanted a year or more, didn't they, to start?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. That's more than a year.
Yeah. Okay. That's it?
Yes.
I have one quick question about that.
You have.
So that was like 20, the city was on the hook for like 28,000 on that?
27 and some
27
change.
something.
Is that money also coming from ARPA?
Yes.
I got you. So that's another.
Yeah, we
to
had
add to
that
the
in
list.
the, yeah. Yep.
$27,117.92. Not bad for 72 acres.
You know, that's the deal right there.
Heck, yes.
Especially with the half a mile of it on the river.
On the river,
Yeah,
right?
and then St. John's and Bullish, they're gonna do some upgrades and restoration of that property.
Yeah, St. John's
Yeah.
Water is the
Yep.
one that's doing the dredging. You know, curious what they're actually gonna do. Okay. Discussion increasing assessment to residents to cover cost of Waste Pro.
That one I was hoping to have some more information on so we could have a, a meaningful discussion on it, but I don't have any more information as yet. This stemmed from when Zach from James Moore was here and did his presentation and brought to our attention that the amount of money we were receiving from our assessments to residents was actually less than what we pay Waste Pro. So in effect, we were losing money, if you want to look at it that way. But I need to do some more research to see how exactly do we calculate what residents are assessed to make sure that the number of houses that are assessed or residents that are assessed are actually paying or that Waste Pro is not overcharging us. So I'm doing some research and reaching out to some people, and as soon as I have some more information, hopefully I can bring this back at the next meeting to have a better discussion. So this is really, I guess, just making you aware of it, and as soon as I have more information, I'll bring it back to you and we can have a better discussion to see what, if anything, needs to be done.
Basically table it for now then.
Yes.
Yeah, because here's one of the things that I noticed. Assessed revenue. All right, tax collector. It comes on your tax bill. Is he getting the information of all of the people who get pickup from Waste Pro? Is Waste Pro overbilling us?
Again?
So we've got to find out from the revenue department, get a list of everybody in Oak Hill that's within the city limits. And take that and ask Waste Pro to do the same thing. And then we can compare what's billed compared to what's revenue is assessed. And I think it could be crazy, but I think it will tell us if Waste Pro's overcharging or the tax collector has missed people. My next door neighbor on River Road is in the county. They put a blue garbage can out. Waste Pro picks up mine and then picks up theirs. They're in the county. There's one person, and my question is Waste Pro charging for that pickup? Or is the driver just confused because the cans are out at the same time?
The driver's colorblind.
County pickup is supposed to be on Friday, so I don't know. But we've got to find out, because a shortfall of $86,000, that's a lot of money.
Well, that's the other side of the question I had too, Mayor, is that, does that include storm pickup or anything else that
No, those
in
are
addition, or is it just,
That'll be
just
separate.
house pickup? And then, like the mayor was just saying, are they picking up what we're getting paid for, right? Are those numbers matching, right? Because, and then the businesses, they went back last year and they had overcharged the businesses X amount of money, and they reduced their rate or did something to compensate. Mr. Pence was part of that, because they overcharged for some period of time, and then.
They sent us a check for the difference.
Okay, but so there was a imbalance and improper billing amount to businesses. Did that occur with the city as well?
Yeah.
I've also noticed too that some of the businesses have residential cans that they put out in front of their
Well, and that's
businesses
the other
too,
part. Are they
instead of-
picking up
Exactly.
businesses that should be
Have
paying as
dumpsters.
businesses and not a city pickup?
Yeah.
Lots of questions.
There's a bunch of questions
Lots of
associated with, where did that?
Jerome, I have
86,000
one. This is saying fiscal '23. Is it likely that we're going to have this overage again this year?
Yeah. If
We don't-
the
We don't do
process
something
isn't
about
right.
it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
all
sir.
things
Damian
remain.
James, 322 Palm Avenue. Well, we're on the trash subject.
I noticed that we've been calling for like lawn debris, and sometimes it takes 2 or 3 weeks for them to come pick it up. Why is that?
Who are you calling? City Hall?
City.
They're supposed to pick it up. That what they do is they schedule that truck, especially if it's a big load, like sitting on Howe, where the old house was
Yes,
being
sir. Yes, sir.
renovated, that big load. And they schedule that big truck. Now, it might take 7 to 10 days, but within that 7 to 10 days, I've been told, it'll get picked up.
Right, but
Now,
a lot of times, I'm sorry.
If it's gone 2 or 3 weeks, we need to know. You can call me. I'll get on the phone with those people. It's ridiculous.
Okay, because I know there's a pile besides Howe, but on Lagoon, I know the gentleman has called, and it's been over 2 weeks since they came.
Since it, yeah. Yeah.
I just asking because we're on the trash subject.
Yeah, that's okay. Because that, if you don't drive the roads, and I mean every road, people put that stuff out. And I don't mind because they've scheduled that big truck with the boom and all. I fully understand that they've only got 1 or 2 of those trucks for the whole, whoever they do business with in Volusia County. So it's scheduling. I understand that, and I think everybody else does. But if it goes 2 or 3 weeks,
Like I said, I've seen the truck drive by this pile twice at least, and, like.
The debris truck?
not,
Yes, sir.
yeah, not supposed to do that.
No.
But I've literally seen twice it's driven by with no load in it, and they ain't stopped to pick it up. That's what I'm asking.
I'll call the supervisor tomorrow on your behalf.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am?
May I make a recommendation to you? I audited for a living, Terry Brown, 150 Baywood Drive. I've audited for a living for over 10 years, and as an auditor, the man who wrote your audit report, he should be able to write you a detail of why you have an imbalance there and explain where he got his numbers from to get you started, so you don't have to figure it out and then go from there, and it'll be a lot easier if you know how he came up with that number. You know exactly what he was looking at.
Okay.
Because
Well,
that's his
yeah, I
job.
agree with you. That'll tell us if
Yeah.
it's storm, like stuff like that.
Mhm.
It won't tell us whether or not that Waste Pro's picking up 700 homes that
Still want to know
aren't being
that.
paid
That's a good,
charged from
that's a
Volusia
good
County.
point. And as it really, I guess it's part of just your yearly thing. You need to know what they're charging you compared to what you're charging us, and that number should balance.
Should.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Checks and balances.
Also.
Thank you.
You're talking about storm debris. There were no storms in 2022-23 budget.
Wasn't Ian and Nicole at the at the beginning of the 23 budget year? November, October?
22.
That was the end of 2022, but it was the budget year.
I don't think we had anything picked up, did we?
I don't think so.
We had that big flood over on Nancy.
Yes.
Because I was running for commissioner.
I just know that storm
that in
was at the
October?
end of 2022,
That's what I
which would have been on our
Fiscal year.
23.
Well, we ought to be able to figure out what's
Money.
going on.
Because it was in
We hired
October.
Tetra Tech for any kind of storm
Storm
debris
debris,
removal.
yeah.
It was Tetra Tech was the company.
Well, we can
that
look in data files and see if anything was paid to them, because
Yes,
that's
there
right.
was.
Yes.
But
Okay.
just,
But we also got reimbursed
Yeah.
for it.
So just so that I'm making sure that I understand this completely, so the let me get my glasses.
216,000.
Yeah, that comes from the county tax assessor?
Yes,
And then
on your tax bill.
so how did we end up with this 302? Is that just the bill that we get from, or was that
That's
already in the
expense
contract?
From Waste Pro.
But, I mean, how did that number get it to be?
Comes out of our accounting program.
well, that's where we're talking about. Are they picking up
Right.
homes that
the things
aren't
that I'm
being
trying
paid,
to find out how
that
to
we aren't
get to that
being
number.
paid for?
So they bill us,
They bill us for what they're
we don't,
picking up,
the
and
number
we're
that
not
we
getting
agree
all
to
the
pay
money
them,
for it.
the number that we agree to pay them on an annual basis isn't in a contract somewhere?
Yeah, it is.
That's kind of what I'm asking.
I don't know if the total amount's in the contract.
It's on number of pickups, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing a dollar figure as far as a total dollar figure. I don't remember seeing that. I remember seeing something about a house count.
Right. It's a charge for house count.
Yeah.
And
So
then
we might
per
want to look
house.
at that number and make sure
So
it's
that's
right.
what I'm
we're-
trying to figure out what that correct house count number is, so I can determine how much are we actually supposed to be being charged, or how much are we supposed to be getting back in assessment.
Gotcha.
I've reached out to the tax collector or property appraiser, one of them, I forgot which one, to get a house count. Thought it would be simple, 280, 500, 2,000, whatever. They send me a database with like 15 different tables and a million different numbers that I'm trying to go through to figure out what exactly it is, or find out what I'm looking
Just
for.
to follow up with that also, how are they making those counts? Because I know that a couple of months ago, right, I had one large lawn bag worth of trash in my house. So instead of and I've got a long driveway, so instead of taking my trash can down the driveway, I just put that lawn bag that I wrapped up down their driveway. They didn't pick it up. So unless I had it in a city green grass trash can, they drove right, they picked up across the street, my brothers, they picked up at all that, but my lawn bag of trash, they didn't pick up.
They didn't pick up my recyclable stuff Thursday.
No, this was a couple of months ago. They picked up everything else, but they didn't pick it up. I'm going, are they only picking up unless you got a trash can? Right? And if that's the case, then we know how many trash cans we.
Now, they pick up black trash bags at my house for,
The yard waste.
yeah.
I put the yard waste out, just lay it on the ground and they come by and pick it up
This was just,
without putting it in a bag.
instead of my trash can, I put it out there in a bag and
Yeah,
they didn't pick it up.
maybe they thought it was too heavy.
Maybe.
You took it out there.
I picked it up, I carried it.
Was their trash can receptacle next to it?
No, I just.
Oh, it was
I
just
didn't-
out there by
It
itself?
was just out there by itself in the place I normally put my trash can.
Yeah. Whenever I have my two trash can out there and I put black bags next to it.
Well, I've done
they
that
always take-
before and they picked it up, but my trash can wasn't out there. They didn't pick it up.
Huh.
So I don't know what they're using as, yes, no, yes, no.
Now, Mr. Adams, you can come back and see what you find about that mess.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The next thing was regarding the city's bank accounts. Again, during the presentation from James Moore, they identified that we have several accounts that could be consolidated. They also identified that we were getting, as far as interest rates, not the best interest rates that are available out there. That coupled with the fact that the branch of Truist that we use closed on the 19th. So if we have to actually go to the bank now, we have to go to Beachside to do any kind of work. So I wanted to get the commission's approval for me to do an RFP to go out for bank services, provide better interest rates, and one that's actually within close proximity to us in case we need to actually visit the branch to do any kind of banking.
Don't go to Bank America, they closed, or they're closing right now in the middle of the month.
No, I don't think that's.
I think that's
Get
a
them
good
to bid
idea.
against one another.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all in favor.
Yep,
Yes.
makes sense. Okay.
Okay. Boards and committees, economic development.
I have nothing tonight other than my community handling inventory church call.
Thank you, Mike. Oak Hill Sports Club, opening day.
Just wanted to say that our opening day is April 6th at Mary Louise at 9 a.m. You all are invited. Come get yourself a hot dog and support the kids.
Will they be playing ball that day too?
Yes, they will.
Okay.
But all the commission is invited to welcome the kids onto the field for our opening day ceremony.
Here comes Mark, wants money.
Only to make the city better. Mark
What
Bell,
time is it
Public
going
Works
to be there?
Supervisor.
9 a.m.
A couple of things before I talk to you about the street sign. I have been talking to the folks from Inliner about getting prices about the piping and stuff, but I do have a question for the commission since everybody's here. The pipes that you're talking about over off of Halifax and Gaines in that area, some of those are not on city property. One of those pipes actually traverses across an entire acre of property and goes across 3 different people's property, right through the middle of a vacant 1 acre lot that does not belong to us. So my question is, before we go getting prices to fix all of this stuff, should we actually be getting prices to put new in and put it on our property where we can properly maintain it? Because right now,
easement.
No,
That's the
it's outside of the easement.
No, I'm just saying that we would either
traverses
have to have
outside,
the pipes on city property or an easement, one or the other would have to end up
That's the
happening.
problem, is the pipe wasn't put in by the city. It was
Right.
put in by a private individual to put it outside of the scope of the edge of the road easement that the city.
Yeah, I
would
went and
normally-
looked at how it takes that hard dog leg off. I went down and actually looked at it this weekend to see.
Which area?
The Bellamy property that you're talking about, I assume that's what you're
That's
talking
where
about.
it started, that's who put it in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like the one that is on the southeast corner of Halifax and Gaines Street, that actually traverses across the property that is on the corner, the vacant lot, and actually goes underneath the next property to the south. It goes underneath his pump house and pole barn before it meets up with the mosquito control ditch back there. So it actually traverses across 3 properties, and it's not even on or in the city easement property to begin with. So before we go spending money where if someone bought that 1 acre parcel, can they just come in and dig a hole and crush the pipe and go, I'm building my house here? They absolutely can, because it doesn't belong to the city. So I would hate to spend the money to fix it if we don't own it.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we should fix it if we don't own it.
The question is, what are our legal options?
Put it in the right of way.
Yeah.
That's your option.
But how do we get it to,
Legal.
how do we get it to where it's at now without crossing the other 3 people's property that it's currently crossing?
sooner or later, that's gonna have to cross somebody's property to get back to the big pond behind Dave Robertson's house.
Yeah.
The big-
I don't know if that lady subdivided that 1 acre lot, but she was willing to sell it to the city at one time, that piping traverses across. She was willing to sell it. She owned both houses on the corner of Halifax and Gaines. And she was willing to sell that 1 acre lot. The house has since sold, but I don't know if she subdivided it since then or before she sold it.
In order to consider that properly, don't you think that we would have to know the difference between buying that and repairing what's already there as opposed to putting it on the right of way?
Yeah, like I said, I would
Couldn't
just,
really make a competent decision without knowing those numbers, right? Because if one's cheaper than the other, you would tend to want to go that way.
But if it's on private property, we really can't.
But he just said that she may be willing to
no,
sell it.
that only fixes the
We don't-
traversing problem to the mosquito control ditch. All the rest of it is still on private property.
Right, going through all
So
that.
that's
What's
only
the
one
option
problem.
of going to the owners, right, and asking for an easement?
Right.
And that's a possibility.
That is an option.
Yes.
Asking them, or if they grant us an easement so that we can maintain, we can maintain that drainage, right? In the long run, it's only gonna behoove them too, otherwise that water is going somewhere and they're in the path.
Yes.
Right.
And
That's
you
the
don't
way.
want your home to flood.
Right.
That's the,
I'd stress that. And here's the thing, we need to move on this. They're saying hurricane season is going to be bad. So we've got 90 days. We have to move on Nancy Cummings, we have to move on that.
that pipe that's under Lagoon, you remember
Does
last
the
year?
city take it upon themselves to develop the letter and send it, or do we get Scott involved?
if we're gonna ask
Probably have
for.
to get Scott involved
Yeah,
just
we
to make
better
sure
get-
it's
So the
legal.
language, yeah.
What does
Yeah.
it take to get an easement from
To
the?
legally obtain the easement, yeah.
Yeah.
I can answer that.
Okay.
The easement grantor basically can make a sketch and say, I hereby grant the city of Oak Hill easement rights to this property. It's very informal, but Scott would probably want to make it very pretty, but you could record anything.
Thank you. Moving on to,
The signs. The purchase price for the signs, I've done a little bit of checking, and it's the same as it was last time, where we replaced most of the signs on the west side of town. I will take the heat for that. I forgot a couple of them that were on the other side of Halifax, or right at the intersection of US 1. So that price would encompass ordering the rest of the signs to complete that, and then also replacing all of the signs in Indian Harbor Estates. Mr. Lindlaw had talked to me about some of the signs fading, the speed limit signs in particular, and when I really went down there and started looking, all of the street blade signs all have that craquellar look to them. Everything is worn, weathered. Most of those signs have been out there for almost 20 years now. They still have county stickers on them from when the county put them up in 07, 08, 09, somewhere in that range. So that $6,500 would be for the purchase of new signs, speed limit signs, street signs, stop signs, posts, the brackets, the toppers, everything to do like we did on the west side last year. I think the realistic number is somewhere in the $5,500 to $6,000 range, but I figured I would leave a little bit extra. Before you ask where the money's coming from, there is $50,000 in our street sign budget as of this year.
Can you make the signs a little larger than standard so we can read them at night?
Have you been over on the west side?
Not recently.
They are like this instead of your traditional smaller ones. I actually consulted with them, and they said that that is what a lot of places are going to, are the larger street blade signs, because we live in a, largely retirement area. So that's why if you look over on the west side in a few places, they're actually bigger.
For us old folks, right?
You said it, not me.
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of the street signs up to $6,500.
I'll second that.
we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Mayor Gibson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lindlof?
Yes.
Commissioner McGee?
Yes.
Commissioner Patagano?
Yes.
Commissioner Hyatt?
Yes.
Okay. Comments and concerns from commissioners. Vice Mayor?
I have TPO meeting on Wednesday, and we've already addressed the issue with the clam seeding, so that's all I have.
Any update on the traffic control device at US 1? And
I will ask again.
that's all we can do.
That's it.
Okay.
The problem is that since I've been with the TPO, we've had six different people from DOT.
That's it. Yes. Yeah.
So it's a continual cycle of new people coming.
Nobody knows who's on first.
Yeah, pretty much.
Commissioner Hyatt?
Nothing.
Commissioner Catagano?
I went into Lighthouse Cove this weekend to look at the try to look at that 591, and
Good luck.
was greeted by a dirt road. It said Charlie and I went in there, but while we were in there, because we didn't know where it was, we drove around and we were talking to some people that lived in there, and I ran into Mr. Martucci and Mr. Peterkin again, the people with the sunken fire hydrant complaint. And they asked me how that was going and what happened, or because everything seems to have hit a dead end or stopped on that. So
I did send a letter to the management company regarding that issue, and I haven't heard back from them.
haven't heard back.
Have they called the county? Have they called the county?
They brought the county firemen in there.
Yeah.
And but the issue now is they're doing the point and finger thing, or who owns it and who's going to fix it. And so that's kind of where we're at. But I think that it'll be, you know, a good thing for the community if we could figure that out for them and make that, you know, fix that somehow, or figure out who it is.
It's gonna be up to the management
If the
company.
management company chooses not to fix it, then, and it's their responsibility, then they're gonna own it.
Yeah, they're
At
gonna
least
be
we'll know
liable
that.
if somebody
Well,
gets
if
hurt.
somebody's house catches fire and they can't utilize the sunken fire hydrant,
Right.
guess what?
And they've been put on notice that they're not functional, so.
Yeah.
Right, but as
Don't
it
know
sits
if we
right
can-
now, we don't, you know, because they haven't responded back to us, they might come back and say, no, that's the county or the city or
No, it's
whatever.
not.
It's
We need-
private.
I think that it would be in our best interest as a city
That
to
whole,
know the
that whole
answer
area
to that question.
is private. We have no control over the roads, nothing. And don't get me wrong, the owner of that property raises Cain when he comes in here with his $45,000 tax check. Mr. Warlick. And you're having a meeting with Mr. Warlick.
I was just thinking the same
Bring
thing.
that
Good for you.
Yep. Anything else?
He's a lawyer, you ought to know.
Steve?
No, I'm just, you're talking about, I'm looking forward to them opening up and the ceremony there. Just so happens, all my brothers, including my brother in Arizona, is flying in for that. And we've all been a part of the ball fields and
No,
playing
that's
ball
great.
back. My grandfather was a part of the original Oak Hill Possums, right? So we've got a long history of the kids here way back playing ball from generations after generations and generations. That'll be and so do you know what a head count is on the, because you were opening it up to 13 and 14-year-olds now that you needed a few
We
more?
have over 164 kids registered,
Holy crap.
so we actually had to put
That's
together a whole nother.
Parks and, the kids are in the recreation here, the support that the locals are doing, the parents that are coming in to
That's a lot of
coach
kids.
and
That's
then
a lot of kids, yeah.
that's a lot of kids coming
You
in
got
here.
uniforms for everybody?
I'm working on them, just hoping they get them done in time. That's always the biggest stress, is the uniforms.
But you have enough money for every kid to have a uniform? Okay.
I think it always works out. So
Okay.
if not, the Andersons can kick it in as well.
Well, there's
But
no
thank
point.
you.
The Andersons, the commissioners can donate.
They have, everybody's been very generous, so.
But I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a neat day to see all those kids out there.
Part of history.
Yep.
It's part of history.
Yes.
The new field.
A big history. I mean, I've been posting some stuff on Facebook
gosh.
because
Yeah, I've seen
my
it.
sister-in-law's been finding photos from my mother had back when my brothers and all that were playing ball and the different ball teams that they were on, and it brings back a lot of memories. My dad was an umpire for the Little League, and so there's a lot of ball-playing history in this town. And the team, I don't know where Charlie went in there, but the Oak Hill, and Ronnie, you know, the Oak Hill boys and playing teams in there were really, really good. Excellent ball players.
Well, this is our 4th season. We're still pretty green, but we are teaching the fundamentals and enjoying the game.
That's, the kids are
That's the
learning,
idea.
and a great thing. I think it's a great thing.
Thank you.
20 years, who knows? You might be having somebody on a major league team somewhere from
We
Oak
hope
Hill.
so.
Right.
That'd be really cool.
Wouldn't it?
Huh?
That would be.
Yeah.
We've got a professional football players from the town out here, so,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be the next nice thing to have a professional baseball player out there. There's some athletes in this town.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my turn. Florida State Legislature awarded the city $500,000 for stormwater improvements. That includes repair of ditches throughout the city. We have to coordinate it with the county because the county has ditches through the city as well. And I don't want to be spending money on
their
ditches that are theirs. The first project that I'd like to recommend would be Nancy Cummings Park and also Gaines Street, Halifax Avenue. We need to make sure that we get those things cranked up, get bids, get permission to cut through people's yards. You know, one of the items was the repiping with a sleeve. If you do that, you don't need permission.
No, but if we can get the sleeve through
Cave
there.
it in.
Well,
Yeah.
then it quits working.
Exactly.
And we're back to square one.
Yeah.
So getting permission to do that, somebody's got to give us permission, like Commissioner Catagano said. We got to get it back over to that stupid pond, which runs by your house too. doesn't it?
My whole west side of my property is.
Is that, yeah, okay,
Yes.
yeah. So we got that. The Easter egg hunt at Nancy Cummings Park was a great success. We need to thank all of the volunteers
There was a
that,
lot of people there.
yeah, that, a lot of kids.
Setting those, I mean, I saw the setting up and all that going, there was a lot of people there.
Yeah, that what you couldn't find a parking place.
I drove around going,
It was really good. The city has scheduled a cleanup date, April the 20th, 2024. The dumpsters will be at the City Hall and I think Ariel Road.
can I ask something about that?
Go ahead.
Right. I've been participating in here. We've had 3 dumpsters here. The 2 of them were trash, 1 of them was tires. We had one at the Mary DeWeese
Mary
Park
DeWeese.
that you had, and then we had 1 or 2 down there.
Just one.
One at Ariel, right? Now
One.
what was in that
One on
bin was
Flamingo.
1 here and 1 there. That ain't gonna be enough.
They're actually gonna have 3 separate dumpsters here for different items.
Okay.
And then the one